Shalom, call Allah, Yahweh, Shemil, Shabbat, Shemil, Josh, double honor, see the other apostles and other bishops of great no still needed, and the elders that came before them and taught us is true. Shalom, salutation to all the brothers out pushing the word and truth and sincerity of one tabernacle of David, the elder Yashuan. Shalom, and salutations to you all. I just saw this. This could be a game changer. Okay, is it over for stealth? China just handed Iran the F-35 kill switch. Okay, so China came up with a piece of technology that renders the F-35 unstealthable. And this could determine whether we're going to see a war or not. We might see some more Epstein files. So, this is a sword, this F-35, right? And China, the kill switch, right, is going to render this thing obsolete. And when that happens, then Iran is going to furbish this sword. Now, what do I mean when I say that? This guy's going to explain it, Money Archive. And he's real good. This guy is good. So you should consider subbing. But he breaks down that if they can see those F-35s and they shoot one down on Iranian soil and back engineer it like they did that American drone, and then suddenly Iran became the leader in drone technology after that. They took control of an American drone out of the air, landed it in perfect condition, and then back engineered it and made their own design, which is better, right? And then they shared it with China. So this guy's gonna break it down, but let me get one first. Let's go here. Let me get you okay, and this will come in later, but the hell is it? That's new. Supporting personal. What? This is new. Consent to the use, the disclosure of the consumer's sensitive personal information. So I guess I'm being sure this goes into the famine of the word right here. I've been using Bible Hub. I was the Bible Hub guy while everybody else was on Blue Back. Same choice. Look at this. You don't have my consent. What if I say no? There's got to be a way around it. There it is. I'm there. Okay. Oh, wait. Let's see. What we got? Oh, yeah. Okay, so you go. Oh, wow. Thought I had it. Okay, go back now. 203. Okay, well, I'll read it in the what's the name? Fuck you. Not gonna do that. Beat your plow. 203 and 10. Beat your plowshares and the swords and pruning hooks in the spirit. Let the weak say, I am strong. Okay. Swords, spears. This F-35 is a sword. It's a spear. It's a weapon, right? And how do you furbish that sword? You make it better. Let the weak say something. So now, because Iran has received this kill switch from China. See, China just handed Iran the F-35 kill switch. Now that Iran has this mechanism created by China, right, they're able to down or even maybe take control of an F-35. They can certainly see it now. He's going to explain it. Then, if you could shoot it down, even if it was in wreckage, you could back engineer. Okay. The Iranian scientists are badasses, right? Look at Elon. Elon come over here taking jobs and shit, right? Anyway, so let's watch this, and probably it's like 12 minutes. We'll watch enough to get the gist of what they're saying, okay? Because he goes deep and he goes into what it means. He goes into how many countries have ordered F-35s. The F-35s that these other countries have ordered aren't going to have all the features. They're going to be dumbed down a little bit so that they can't just come in and take over, right? But what if Iran downs one with everything in it? See, they'll go into it. So lucky. He's better than
50 years. That's how long the United States spent. 50 years. That's how long the United States spent building the most dominant air force the world has ever seen. 50 years of engineering, billions of dollars in research, and the blood and sacrifice of an entire generation of military minds, all leading to one aircraft, one promise, one guarantee that America would own the skies in any war against any enemy anywhere on the planet. China just broke that promise, and it cost them almost nothing. No war declared, no troops deployed, no missiles fired, just a quiet, calculated transfer of hardware, radar equipment shipped from China to Iran. And with that single move, Beijing may have just done something that no adversary has managed in half a century. Make America's most advanced, most expensive, most strategically critical weapon system vulnerable. The F-35 Lightning II, $2 trillion, 19 nations, over 300 aircraft are already in the air. The entire Western military alliance restructured around its one defining feature, that it cannot be seen. China just made it visible, and what happens next doesn't stay in the Middle East. It doesn't stay in the stock market. It doesn't stay in a Pentagon briefing room. It ripples through every military alliance, every arms contract, and every calculation of global power that the world has been operating on since the 1990s. Here's exactly what China did, and why the consequences are just getting started. China has reportedly transferred its most advanced anti-stealth radar system to Iran. Specifically, the YLC-8B is a strategic 3D radar built by China's Nanjing Research Institute of Electronics Technology. This isn't some aging Cold War hand-me-down. The system carries a reported detection range of over 500 kilometers for conventional aircraft. And critically, the documented ability to detect and track stealth aircraft at ranges exceeding 350 kilometers. According to defense intelligence reports circulating right now, in February 2026, multiple units of this radar have already arrived on Iranian soil. They're being integrated into Iran's air defense network as we speak. Now, let me tell you exactly why that single sentence should terrify every defense analyst, every arms.
I like that picture. Slucky. Look at Esau. Look at that. I like that. Now they're going into the monetary aspect of this, so you got to take careful attention because this could cause, right? This could cause a stand down over this war that's supposed to take place this weekend, right? They might reconsider, right? Listen.
Every defense analyst, every arms investor, and honestly, every American taxpayer who has been funding this system for half a century. The F-35 Lightning II is supposed to be invisible. That is the entire premise. That is the entire $2 trillion justification for the most expensive weapons program in human history. The U.S. Government Accountability Office has confirmed the F-35's full life cycle cost at over $2 trillion. As of early 2026, over 1,300 F-35s are operating worldwide across 19 nations. The United States alone has ordered more than 2,400 of them. Lockheed Martin set a record in 2025, delivering 191 aircraft in a single year. The latest production contract, finalized in September 2025, covers another 296 aircraft at a price tag of $24.3 billion. Japan, Israel, the UK, Australia, Italy, Norway, Denmark, Belgium, Finland, Canada. Every one of these nations has either received F-35s or is waiting in line for them. The entire Western military alliance has reorganized its air strategy around one central promise: that this aircraft cannot be detected. China just told the world, we can see it. Here's where it gets technical, but stay with me, because understanding this is the key to understanding why this threat can't simply be patched away with a software update. The YLC-8B operates on a UHF low-frequency band. The F-35's stealth design was built to absorb and deflect high-frequency radar waves, the kind that virtually every conventional air defense system uses. It was specifically engineered to defeat X-band and S-band radars. That's what the engineers optimized for. That's what the stealth coatings were designed around. But UHF waves are physically longer. They interact differently with an aircraft's structure. They bounce off wings and tail sections in ways that radar-absorbing materials simply cannot suppress. This isn't science fiction. This is established textbook physics. And the YLC-8B was built specifically to exploit exactly this vulnerability. Think about what that means in practice. The entire justification for deploying F-35s in a potential strike against Iran has always been stealth. During Operation Midnight Hammer in June 2025, when B-2 stealth bombers struck Iran's nuclear facilities at Fort al-Natanz and Isfahan, US F-35s were used to suppress Iranian air defenses flying ahead of the bombers, drawing missile fire and disabling radar systems. The entire strategy depended on the F-35 being essentially invisible until it was far too late for Iran to respond effectively. That playbook may now be dead. The YLC-8B doesn't just detect the F-35. According to defense analysts, it can track it with enough precision to pass targeting coordinates directly to surface-to-air missile systems. The radar detects, it locks coordinates, it hands that data to an HQ-90 missile battery. China also supplied those. And suddenly, you have a complete kill chain operating against an aircraft that was specifically designed to be unkillable.
China also provided those. Did you hear that? Those missiles? What? If China's handing them stuff like that, okay, missiles and anti-missile systems, that's what that is. What is Russia handing them? Because we know what it says in the scriptures. Let it go on.
A Hudson Institute report noted that Iran's pivot toward Chinese air defense systems reflects what analysts are calling a fundamental shift in the regional military balance, one that directly challenges the operational doctrine that both the Israeli Air Force and the US Air Force have built their entire war plans around. Now let's walk through what actually happens the moment an F-35...
They built their entire war plans around having air superiority and being invisible. So now they're ready to go in this week. Are they just finding this out? That could cause a standoff.
Down over Iran step by step, because the cascade of consequences is something almost nobody is talking about publicly, and it needs to be. The aircraft crashes. The ejection seat fires. The pilot, wearing a Gen 3 helmet that costs more than most people's homes, floats down into Iranian territory. Iran captures him. That is not a hypothetical negotiating chip. That is the single most valuable piece of leverage any adversary has ever held against the United States in the modern era. Iran doesn't just hold prisoners, Iran uses them. When they downed an American RQ-170 Sentinel surveillance drone in 2011, they didn't destroy it. They studied it. They reverse engineered it. They built their own version. And then they shared that technology with Russia and China. An American F-35 pilot in Iranian hands is infinitely more valuable than a drone. And Iran, China, and Russia all know that. But the pilot is only the beginning. The wreckage lands on Iranian soil. And Iran's engineering community, which, despite everything, has produced some of the most resourceful military engineers on the planet, gets access to the most classified aircraft ever built. The export version of the F-35 that Allied nations receive already has certain capabilities deliberately reduced compared to the version the US military flies. But if a full-spec US Air Force F-35 goes down, the classified sensor, complete software stack version, Iran gets access to avionics systems, sensor fusion architecture, stealth coding materials, and software that the United States has spent decades and hundreds of billions of dollars protecting. An F-35 wreck on Iranian soil isn't just a military loss, it's a gold mine that China, Russia, and Iran can divide three ways. And China has already demonstrated that it extracts valuable real-world performance data from its systems operating against Western platforms, using those results to enhance its own military modernization and sharpen its export competitiveness. And then comes the financial earthquake. And it is immediate, it is catastrophic, and it is global. Lockheed Martin's entire business model rests on the F-35 program. This is not a side project for them. This is the core of everything they are. The moment footage of a downed F-35 appears on Iranian state television, and it would, Lockheed Martin's stock doesn't dip. It free falls. Institutional investors who have been sitting on defense sector positions for years know immediately what that footage means. They don't wait for analysts. They don't wait for press conferences. They exit. And it's not just Lockheed. Every country in the queue to buy F-35s suddenly has a political decision to make. Japan has plans to acquire 147 more. Finland just finalized 64. Canada is committed to 88. Germany, Switzerland, Belgium. The pipeline is enormous. A single confirmed F-35 kill, achieved using Chinese radar technology in Iranian hands, turns every one of those contracts into a domestic political firestorm overnight. Defense ministers get summoned before parliaments. Generals face cameras in public hearings. The question being asked loudly on every news channel in every allied capital: did you know this radar existed? Why are we spending this money? The entire foundation of Western air defense procurement cracks, not quietly in a classified briefing room, but loudly, publicly, and on live television. Now add the second piece of this equation, because this goes well beyond the F-35 itself. 2 U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups are currently positioned in the Persian Gulf. Each one carries thousands of American sailors and service members. Iran's supreme leader recently called out Donald Trump by name, stating publicly that Iran's missiles are more dangerous than any aircraft carrier. That is not bluster for domestic audiences. That is a message delivered with a very specific technical context behind it. China has provided Iran not only with the YLC-8B radar, but with HQ-9B long-range surface-to-air missiles as well. Defense analysts report that Russian technical experts are believed to be physically present inside Iran, helping operate and integrate these systems.
Look at that again.
Surface-to-air missiles as well. Defense analysts report that Russian technical experts are believed.
Russian technical experts are all working together. Hear that?
Missiles as well. Defense analysts report that Russian technical experts are believed to be physically present inside Iran, helping operate and integrate these systems. According to geopolitical analysts, the deployment of the Chinese radar has created what some are calling a trap, with Iranian anti-ship and air defense systems supported by Chinese intelligence and capable of detecting threats in real time. The trap doesn't only apply to Israeli aircraft, it applies to every aircraft that takes off from those carriers. The Pentagon has reportedly briefed Trump directly. That briefing reportedly included scenarios covering aircraft carrier vulnerability, threats to the 400-plus U.S. military bases spread across the Middle East, and the specific danger posed by Iran's missile programs. The assessment is stark. The window in which the United States could conduct a clean, low-casualty air campaign against Iran may be closing or may already be closed. And China engineered this closing deliberately, quietly, and from 6,000 miles away. Here's the part that should make you sit up straight. Because this story isn't just about radar technology or fighter jets or even the Middle East. This story is about what China just demonstrated to the entire world, and what that demonstration means for every military alliance, every arms deal, and every conflict that follows. China did not fire a single shot. China did not put a single soldier in danger. China did not even officially acknowledge that this radar transfer happened. And yet, China may have just fundamentally altered the outcome of a potential war between the
United States and Iran.
States and Iran, in Iran's favor.
That's all we need. So are they going to attack this weekend, or are they going to rethink that? Okay. It's going to be a bloodbath. We already know who's going to win. Are they going to do it this week? Because this is what they're saying. Who said that? I think it was Travis said that. Let me see. What is Travis? Homestead prepared. Prepared homestead. Of course, it won't say that. The prepared. The prepared. Let's see if Travis. Yeah, Travis. What am I looking for? I'm pressing them out. Watch red alert. Something about this weekend for sure. So, turn up, get ready for war. Who said that? We live in times. Somebody said this weekend. Who said that? War with Iran. This weekend. I know that don't mean it. Well, that's what I saw. A month ago, 5 hours. Somebody had that in there. It's war imminent, on the brink, 2 weeks, 4 hours. Somebody said that thing out loud. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 day. This weekend, where's that at? Anyway, I saw that. Who said that? Let me see. Oh, was it Paul and Adrian? That cloud. What is it? Off Grand Desert Farm. Rice tea. LMNO. Korean. Did he say it? Desert. Emergency. This is 2 hours ago. Paul and Adrian. Emergency World War III update. War with Iran now certain this weekend. What is that? Certain. Okay. This.
Breaking news: Russian warships arrive at Bandar Abbas. Surprise exercises with Iran said to begin near the Straits of Hormuz amid U.S. warships presence. Russia, Iran, and China have deployed their naval vessels for joint exercises in the Strait of Hormuz.
And the second carrier group just arrived over there. So what is good? They can't do nothing. They have to stand down. America has to stand down. They can't go to war. Not with China and Russia standing right there. They're there doing exercises. You know they're live. What can America do but start a war and lose? Those carrier groups will be the first thing to go down. With Russia and China there, they start firing. They can't do it. Okay? So how can you say it's certain this weekend? How do you describe what you just described? Russia's there, China's there, right? America's there. They're going to fight? No. That would be it. They could go to nukes immediately. Or nobody will fire a shot. Okay? They all meet up in the same area and nobody will fire a shot. Who's going to be stupid enough to do that? Okay? Not even Nero. He ain't that dumb.
Region under the Maritime Security Belt 2026 framework. Russia's Baltic Fleet corvette, the Skorsky, often referred to in reports as the Russian warship or helicopter carrier, in some translations, although it's a large ship. But like I said, folks, the United States military right now is being challenged by Russian and Chinese assets.
So if they were to fire, they're over there conducting war games. If U.S. went over there and did anything funny, Russia could say, "Oh, you just fired at me," and then it's on the cracker. You ain't fighting Iran anymore. You're fighting Russia. They could send one helicopter carrier. Well, they only sent one helicopter. Yeah, fire over there. See if Russia don't say, "Oh, you fired on Russia." All they need.
And they are there as a tripwire. That if the United States or Israel sinks one of the Chinese or Russian warships, then this war will go to another level. But everything is now getting into place. Like I said, this is a video of all of the aircraft that has been deployed or being deployed to the Middle East. It is nonstop, folks, nonstop coming in to the Middle East. All of this air power right now. So all I can tell you is get ready that we are going to see the largest air battle. We're going to see the largest war in a very, very long time. And we don't know if we're going to have Russian fighter jets and Chinese fighter jets come into the region to shoot down American aircraft. Folks,
I'm gonna end it right there because he can riff on that for the next 20 minutes. But there you have it. Shoot, we can read this. Matthew 24:6 in the King James. You shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must pass, but the end is not yet. We got a long time yet, right? I don't think anything major will happen this week because that sea hip and that brain chip got to move faster first because this could set it off. This is the perfect storm for declaring World War III, and that shit would spiral very quickly. So I think that everybody's going to stand down and figure it out later, and that stalemate is going to push things back far enough to push the sea hip because whatever happens, it's going to cause the closing of the strait, which is going to shut down commerce, which is going to force the CBDC. Okay, and I'm speaking as a man, right? Speculating, but we'll see. We'll see what happens this weekend, right? Because everybody's there, apparently. Let me see. Oh, I'm not doing that. I'll go around it. Okay. Come over here. Got you, didn't I? Itch. Zigo. There it is. I'm smart as you, bitch. Ezekiel 38 and 2. Son of man, set thy face against God in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So we're talking about the chief prince, Rasha. Okay. So there's Russia, there's Iran, and many people with it. There's China. See that? Turkey, Syria, Ethiopia, Libya. Okay. Right? 38 and 7, Ezekiel 38 and 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou guarded. Why are they there doing war drills right now? Why is Russia there? Right? Russia's there right now. That's Russia. And them helicopters. Heliocopter. Anyway, I can't get the helicopter. Russia's there. Okay? Anyway, so Russian warships arrive at Bandar Abbas. Surprise exercise. Surprise exercise. Guess what? America ain't doing shit this weekend. They're gonna turn around. They'll wait for Russia to leave. But they ain't doing nothing this weekend. Anyway, with that, we hope that the electorate fights.